Greetings and welcome to the podcast. My name is Joseph Jennings. I am an ex-corporate executive with 15 years of experience, which I am now thrusting upon the world of entrepreneurship. I'm here with my co-host, Christina. How are you today?
Very good. Hi, I'm Christina. I'm an energy healer. Post ex-corporate employee, also was in the corporate world for at least 15 years. Just started what did I do? I started practicing energy healing about 7 years ago and recently made the switch from corporate to entrepreneurship via energy healing.
And one thing that we've realized along our journey is being able to hone the skills that we had through doing our corporate careers and balancing that with our passions has been the most valuable tool in order to say, okay, hey, I worked in marketing, advertising, and sales. What are some of the same principles that work in entrepreneurship? And you're someone who's worked in operations and sales as well. And so you've been able to transition a lot of those skills into the world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, they definitely overlap. You shouldn't have one without the other, quite honestly. Anything to help you level up and get to the next phase of your career and life, why wouldn't you use it? And here we are to teach you.
And one thing, just to put an even finer point on that, I heard this, obviously Alex Hormozi, he's probably the most quoted social media entrepreneur currently. It's like him, maybe Gary Vee. He said that if you take a skill that you've learned as a corporate person and then want to go out on your own, that's already economically back tested. So you know someone's willing to pay for that skill. And so, okay, how do I take that skill and then just move it into this world of I don't have a boss now, or you're your own boss, right?
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, so let's jump in. I know the topic today was going to be super interesting, but I just wanted to shoot the shit a little.
Yeah, actually, I had a question I wanted to know about you.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to know, when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So that's really funny. In my earliest memory of wanting to be something, and I'm not even kidding you, I had two goals. It was either be a rock star or be in the mafia. So I swear to God. So this is around the time when The Sopranos was really popular, but I'm I couldn't be a made man because my family's I'm only half Sicilian.
Oh.
So the mob, little do people know this, is actually Sicilian mainly. I'm sure there's plenty of Italian people too. But if there's any mobsters out there, please leave a comment below just so we can get some clarity on that. But yeah, those are my two options. And then when I was in high school, I was in a band, and one of my best friends' dad is a really successful music industry guy. And so I was riding that horse like into the ground for a while there. So yeah, how about you? What did you want to be?
I never wanted to be a mobster, but I always have wanted to be a mafia wife. I'm still available. I know how to keep my mouth shut, which is very important.
I was just going to say you'd be an awesome mob wife. So.
Yeah, I got the long fingernails. I put on a fur coat. I'll get something off the back of a truck. I wouldn't be mad about it. Maybe one day I'll tell you about my family's connection to the Capones.
Ooh.
So I guess we are kind of a mob family. Low key.
Little teaser. Watch the next episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe you have to maybe figure out if you should talk about that or not.
So you want to be a rock star or a mafiosa?
Yeah, and then I'm not joking answer, but those were actually real desires of mine. I remember I wanted to be a lawyer. Like that was I like arguing, and I have a problem with authority, and I assume that's what lawyers do, is just challenge authority and argue. And so I don't really like to argue as much anymore, and I've done a lot of dumb shit as a kid, so I don't challenge authority, at least legal authority, because it just doesn't end well for me. And so yeah, that was a couple of things.
I'm all about challenging authority also.
Wait, so
the man.
What did you want to be then?
I wanted to be a race car driver.
No.
I don't know if you've ever been in the car with me. A fast one. I really didn't know. I was a child, but I always thought I just want to drive fast. I'm very confident behind the wheel. I like going fast. I'm not afraid at all. I have very quick reaction speeds and overly confident, some might say, but I think it works well for me.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I've never driven in a vehicle with you.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
I've driven when we were in a car together, but I've never been in a passenger in a car with you. So
one day.
Yeah, one day I'll just take get a Xanax or something.
Or maybe you'll like it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
I feel like you're a very good driver. I think I'm a good driver. This is the thing. I think I'm a very good driver. I might be aggressive and assertive in my driving, but I'm never on my phone. I'm never fucking around. I'm always paying attention. I know exactly what's happening around me. And so overly confident, which is how I like to be in all things in life.
I had a boss who would, and we used to work. So we live in Chicago, for anyone curious about our location. And so I had this job that headquarters was in Wisconsin, which anyone geographically, it's literally the state above. So we would take these trips to corporate, and he would always drive in like this really nice BMW. But I'm not kidding you. The entire time, this dude would be on his phone, be going 90 miles an hour on the highway, and he'd be like this. And it's your boss, so I'm not going to be like, I'm young in my career, so I can't be like, dude, stop texting.
Put the phone down.
Right. And so
can I send the text for you?
I just eventually got used to it, and I was like, well, he was a good texter and driver. I don't recommend it at that speed.
But then you don't really know what's going on all the time, because when you're looking down, like I'm looking at all the mirrors and I'm looking around all my surroundings all the time. Unfortunately, though, I'm not a race car driver now, but I'm open to it. I'd also like to do demolition derby if that's an option from someone.
Whoa.
I think that'd be really cool.
Demo derby. Is your on switch on? I think it is. Could you imagine? Yeah, it is. No, you're good. It's in the upright position.
Who knows how these things work?
Yeah. Well, cool. So, do you watch racing then? Are you an F1 fan?
My dad was really into it, and I would watch it
Formula
sometimes. He'd watch all the racing.
Oh, okay.
But no, I don't really care that much. It's not really exciting unless there's a crash or the end, right?
That's a very specific thing, especially back for a kid to be into, because it wasn't as popular. Well, at least where we are, NASCAR is not popular.
Yeah.
And Formula One is now really popular.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to going.
I wonder if that's because he was from Greece. And so, did you grow up watching less traditional sports than mainstream Americans?
No, my dad was first generation here in America, so...
Oh, he was born here.
Yeah, I think he was born here.
So
I think his brother wasn't born here.
Your grandparents are from there.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know. My dad loved all sports. He wanted a boy, and so I'm kind of like a boy. I don't present as a boy, but when it comes to my interests and my abilities to keep up with the men, I'm right there with you.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Well, should we dive into our topic?
Let's do it.
So I thought today it'd be fun to learn about the power of 369. Are you familiar with 369?
I have some familiarity. Yeah, it's a Nikola Tesla thing.
Yeah, not the rapper. Damn, she fun.
Oh, get low. So love that. So I remember when I went to University of Iowa, I only made it 1 year because then my parents were like, yeah, bro, you're having too much fun. But I remember it was that song and then the Shake It Like a Polaroid picture.
Oh, so good. I wanted to go to University of Iowa. I did not go for the same reason. I knew that I'd have too much fun. So Nikola Tesla was obsessed with 369. He was literally obsessed. That's all I could talk about, I guess. This guy, you say, hey, how you doing? He was like, 369. And then people were like, I don't know what that means. So I'm going to teach you what that means today. So 369, it's this fabric of the universe. And I found it really interesting when I was doing my research on 369. 369, it shows up in nature, in energy patterns, ancient wisdom, and even modern science. And you know we love some science, so had to bring that in for you. I noticed when I was doing the research too, there are all these overarching themes when it comes to 369. There is sacred and esoteric knowledge, science and nature, and manifestation and energy work. And of course, all of those are extremely interesting to me.
Yeah. What I find so fascinating about that guy is now that we've peeled back a lot of the layers and understand he was one of those misunderstood guys because he wasn't business savvy. Like Edison it was Thomas Edison who basically wrecked him because he was a good businessman.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was Edison because one of them invented AC, one of them invented DC power. I don't remember which was, but the one that Tesla invented was better. But Edison did this thing where he took an elephant and he used the type of electricity that Tesla created and electrocuted the elephant to death. And people were like, well, clearly that product is inferior because it could kill an elephant. If you could kill an elephant, imagine what it would do to a person. And Tesla was one of those guys who needed a business consultant, and he probably would have been a lot more prolific.
Oh, poor guy. It's as an artist and intuitive, sometimes we do need some business help. It's okay to ask for help. So do you know what 3 stands for? Do you know anything about the number 3?
No, I'm excited to learn though.
Okay, great. I'm excited to teach you. So 3 is seen as the trinity of creation and expressions. There's different themes for each one of these. And for 3, it's creation, expression, communication, manifestation, and divine alignment. So if we're looking back in history and we're saying like, what is this 3? Where do we see 3? The examples of that would be the Holy Trinity in Christianity. So you have the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Then if you think of the esoteric, we have like the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's like this, things come in 3s. You hear that in society too. Things come in 3s. People die in 3s. Another way that we see it in science is the atom. So you have the proton, the neutron, and the electron, which are the building blocks of matter. Yeah. You have light behavior in the primary colors of red, blue, and yellow. And then you have time, past, present, and future. And then the last thing would be manifestation and shaping reality. That's the say it, see it, feel it in terms of like manifestation processes.
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. I'm just trying to
process.
Yeah. That's so cool.
So then number six is the number of harmony, love, and universal balance. So we're looking at the theme of balance, magnetism, nurturing, interconnectedness, and divine harmony. And where we see these numbers show up in sacred and esoteric knowledge would be the hexagram, which is the Star of David. Are you familiar with that? It's like the two triangles upside down.
Yeah, the Jewish star.
Yes, one up, one down, I guess. The flower of life, which is sacred geometry. I don't know if you've ever seen sacred geometry, but it's amazing. It doesn't make any sense.
And the flower of life is it the tree of life? Which one's like the root of all sacred geometry? Is it the flower or the tree?
I think the tree.
The tree, yeah, okay.
So back to science and nature, we have carbon 12, which is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. This is the atomic structure of life on Earth. Then we have a honeycomb, like in a bee in a little honeycomb pattern. This is built in a perfect hexagon shape. And my favorite, snowflakes. Snowflakes are perfect hexagons also. They're all 6-sided and symmetrical in structure.
What is that? Okay, yeah, that's crazy.
Also, sidebar, there was a scientist that was like, what is this idea about snowflakes? There are no two are alike. I guess he took a sample size of like 100 snowflakes and it's been debunked. So it's possible that there might be 2 snowflakes that are the same shape.
So essentially if enough snowflakes drop, it will repeat. But it's probably based on some like 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big number, but it's still plausible.
Because there's only X amount of possible. Okay, that makes sense. But that's so fascinating. I'm like, you're blowing my mind right now because I'm really into the simulation theory stuff lately, and this is all kind of feels like the universe is math, which plays into that.
It's totally math. Yeah. So this even says the number 6 is the energy that connects, nurtures, and maintains balance. I love it. So number 9 is the number of completion, enlightenment, and higher consciousness. So if we're looking at the theme for number 9, it's endings, enlightenment, divine wisdom, humanitarianism, and vortex energy. So if we're looking at sacred and esoteric knowledge, we have Buddhism, and that has 9 levels of consciousness. We have Norse mythology, which has 9 realms, and then Egyptian mythology, where there are 9 Enneads, which are creator gods. If we look at science and science and nature, we have the vortex mathematics, which is what you're kind of talking about here. So that is, no matter how you multiply the number 9, the sum always reduces back to 9. It's the only number.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so number 9, no matter how many times you multiply the number 9, it always reduces back to the number 9. You can multiply it by anything, and it will always come back down to 9. It'll always.
Oh, are you saying like I could go like 9 times 3 times 10 times 106 times 27, and it'll always be a derivative of 9?
Yes.
That's okay. That's wild.
Doesn't make any sense. And then Tesla's free energy theory. He believed that energy could be harnessed using vortex energy, which follows the power of 9. And so if we're thinking about this 9, it represents the completion state. So, had you known any of those details about 369, how it went into such depth?
No, I knew that Tesla I didn't know the free energy thing was a derivative of that, but I knew he was obsessed with vortexes. And this is totally piquing my interest it's like I hear these things and I want to figure out how to harness them. Like, how do I get the power?
How does it work for
the power? Yeah.
The power. So Tesla believed the key to unlocking the mysteries of reality were held in this 369. And speaking of vortex energy patterns, he was saying the energy moves in a spiral. So you were mentioning the vortex, and I mentioned it too. You have to imagine it's a spiral that's going on, kind of like a hurricane or a tornado that comes over. A tornado is a bit of a vortex. It starts really skinny and gets very big. That's what he's speaking of when he talks about these vortex. Vortice?
Vorti? Is that the plural?
It might be. It is today. Because I'm not a scientist. Right. So it's fine.
Same, if anyone didn't already know.
And so I also was really interested in this because I'm like, how does this fit into Christianity? Because I grew up in a very Christian home and I wanted to know what parallels there were between Tesla's theories and Christianity. And so I just thought I'd call a couple of these out because I found it interesting. So Holy Trinity would be the three. Jesus resurrected on the third day. There were three wise men. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. It was very interesting. Then if we're looking over at number 6, 6 represents the balance, the divine, and the higher consciousness. I guess the divine, there are 3. And then when you look at the higher consciousness, there are 9. And it's the energy of physical manifestation, the bridge between the seen and the unseen, which is really the basis of faith.
So which numbers are that last thing you described?
Sorry, 6 represents balance, and it sits between the divine, which is 3, and the higher consciousness, number 9.
Oh, and then those are the things that are the derivatives of manifestation.
Correct.
Okay.
And then if we look at number 9, Jesus died on the 9th hour. There were 9 fruits of the Spirit. Noah was the 9th generation of Adam. Jesus performed 9 recorded healings on blind individuals. It was just that all these examples kept coming up. In the beginning, there were all these 3, and then in the end, there were all these number 9s, coincidences. So again, we're looking at number 3 as creation and beginning, 6 is manifestation and connecting, and 9 is completion and enlightenment. So now I'm sure you're wondering, what does this all mean? How can I use this? How is this going to fit into my regular everyday life? And I'm going to tell you.
Okay, good. This is a weird side note real quick, but I'm reading this book called The Secret Teaching of All the Ages, and it talks about how these occult things have appeared in like Freemasonry or Druidic rituals or Christianity. And I was just reading about how the Druidic god, who's their sun god, which mirrors Egyptian mythology, was born on the 25th. So I think a lot of this stuff, and maybe we can peel the layers back even more, but that'd be obviously a completely different episode, is talking about some of these esoteric links between this and maybe even like old school religions like Druidism or I don't freaking know, Hermetism.
Yeah, I love it. That's really interesting. I don't know much about it, but I always want to learn everything about everything. I always joke I'm a lifetime learner.
I love secret society stuff because I have like this weird obsession. I don't know if it's obsession, but I'm like, if I get the secrets, if I just get like this, what we're about to learn, this 369 thing, I'm like, okay, Tesla was in this. The math sounds fascinating, and there's all these permutations in other parts of popular culture or religion and stuff. So there's definitely something here.
Definitely. So I'll tell you. So to use the 369 method for manifestation, you're supposed to write down 3 in the morning. So this is broken out morning, afternoon, and evening. So again, if we're looking at the creation, manifestation, and completion, think about your day. The creation is when you wake up. The middle of the day would be your manifestation time, and completion, I'm going to go to bed. So in the morning, 3 times you would write down your creation and intention. In the afternoon, 6 times you would write down magnetism and attraction. And 9 times, at night, you'd write down 9 times the completion and surrender to the universe. So I have some other examples. I thought we could do manifesting love. So using the 369, 3 times in the morning would be I radiate love and attract deep connections. 6 times in the afternoon, my soulmate is drawn to me effortlessly. And 9 times at night, I am in a loving, fulfilling, harmonious relationship. So again, we're looking in the morning. I radiate love, like talking about what you are, what you're hoping to be for the future. In the afternoon, my soulmate's drawn to me. Like I radiate love and now it's coming in for me. And at night, I am a loving, fulfilling partner. Affirming and closing the thought, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And this is actually a little offshoot of that. I used the affirmative having to get over my last relationship. And I remember we talk pretty regularly. We're like friends outside of here. I was struggling to get over my ex, and I actually did law of assumption writing, talking, which helped me get in the mindset of being back together with her and being able to get back into the mindset of having this thing made me be able to logically go, oh, that's right, I didn't want to be in this relationship, and then release it. Whereas before I was like coming from this place of lack. So that the feeling of having is unbelievably powerful in your ability to like attract the thing. I don't know, or release the thing. And if you're able to release a thing, either way, you're gonna attract what you want, because then you're not like outcome dependent on. So yeah, I think that's awesome. The closing the loop is such a game changer that you brought up. I'm so happy.
Yeah, no one ever talks about closing the loop of the idea. What I've heard before in the past, or I hear regurgitated on social media, is the same. I love money. I am money. I want money. It's these very simplistic frames, but we really need to think about it more in depth and put more intentionality behind it, because again, you're proving to source, God, the universe, I deserve this thing, and I'm putting energy and effort into it. So I want all of this to come back to me, and I'm going to show you how important I think it is. Not just some fluffy thing someone told me. I'm going to feel into what it is that I want. The last one I thought we could do is on success and career growth, since this really is business focused. So the morning 3 times, I am successful and attract amazing opportunities. 6 times in the afternoon, my work is valued and my sex.
Cut.
Anyway, maybe I guess.
Maybe we leave that in.
Well, we're probably going to leave it in.
Yeah.
But I'll restart just to restart. 6 times in the afternoon, my work is valued and my success is inevitable. 9 times at night, I am aligned with my highest purpose and abundance flows to me. So again, in the morning, we're saying I'm successful. In the afternoon, we're saying I am valued and success is inevitable. And at night, we're saying I am aligning with my highest purpose and abundance is flowing into me, or something better.
Yeah. And one thing you taught me, which I really like, I like creating specific numbers, and I'll test it. I'll go up to a certain amount and I'll come back down. I'll go back up, and I'll find the amount that feels exciting but not overwhelming, where I get cognitive dissonance but then you told me, yeah, you can, so pick the number, but then you can say or more. So you leave yourself open to the possibility of having more, but I think leaving it generic where you don't have something specific, at least for my brain, I'm going, well, how much is it? So I like a specific thing, and then the ability to also allow more by saying or more.
Yeah, you want to just think of it as leaving the door cracked open.
Yeah, because if you wanted to attract 100 grand and you made 200, you'd be happy with that, right? And so, but if 200 seems like too much, but you'd want more than 100, then yeah, I'm open to the possibility of more. But the number that feels exciting but possible is X.
And slightly uncomfortable. I think slightly uncomfortable is important. Yeah, so you don't want to make it exact, just slightly, where you're like, okay, like this is exciting to me. If this really happened, this would be good, but not too far to reach, just slightly uncomfortable. It's the same thing when you're paying for services from people. It's been shown that when people get free services, they don't actually get as much out of it. They don't have as much buy-in. Think
100%.
about paying for college even. When someone else is paying for school for you, you may not pay attention. But if you're the one forking out the bill and you're making the payments yourself, you're probably going to care a little bit more because you have a vested interest with your own resources. Like, same thing with service providers. If you were going to a free therapist, maybe you wouldn't get as much out of them. But if you're paying $400 a session, probably locked into whatever this person has to say, and you're going to find the right person that fits you. Any kind of service, healing, anything where you're trying to benefit a course, it's the same thing.
Like, that's got to hurt a little to make you go, oh, I better show up for this. And I've noticed whenever I launch a new offer, I will test it by doing free clients to just get reviews and make sure it works and tweak the process and stuff. That's where you get the most no-shows, when people are like, they don't see, there's no perceived value of a free thing. Some people are awesome and show up and do the thing. I'm sure you've noticed that when you have sessions that you've done pro bono. Those are the people that, not always, but there's a much lower ROI on their time investment.
Yeah, and the way that they show up in terms of allowing the healings. When I used to do free sessions, when I was first learning, people just didn't get as much out of it. And that's okay. It's an energetic exchange. Even if you're exchanging dollars, it's still an energetic exchange, and it's your resources. And so if you value your resources, then that will show up in the way that you show up.
I had this idea where, and let me get your thoughts on this. And if you guys have thoughts in the listeners, drop a comment. So I was thinking about creating a process where I give away 30 days of coaching for free. But if they want to continue to work with me, then they have to pay for it. And so it kind of makes me want to over deliver. And then at the same time, the person could get perceived value if they wanted to re-up on the back end. Now, just kind of talking through it out loud, it would be a lot of fall off in the frontal phase and probably a lot of people that don't ascend. I don't know. What do you think of that as a strategy for hooking clients or offer magnet?
30 days seems like a lot of dedication on your end. I would be concerned about burnout from you. How much of your energy are you putting into these people when you're expecting that some of them will fall off? How many people are allowed into the program? Maybe the program is structured in a way where it's general courses and check-ins. I don't know. I think you'd really have to think about your well-being at the end of this.
My time commitment to this free resource. Yeah. I was thinking once a week meet, but that could add up.
Yeah, it could add up. And it is frustrating when you have sessions and people don't show up, or you can tell they're not prepared or taking it seriously. You might start to get angry and bitter. And I think that's why people say don't give things away for free. When you're learning something, it does make sense to give things away for free, or in the beginning, or again, if you're testing. And I think it makes sense for maybe a small group. You want to make sure probably that you're vetting the person to see where they're at in their life. After talking to someone for a minute, you can really understand if people really are committed, I think, and if they're committed to let me backtrack. How you do I'm very, very big on this one saying it's how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if they don't commit to anything in their lives, they're probably not going to commit to this. And so looking at the track record of a person and maybe getting a feel for where they are.
One thing, and this is interesting too, and something that new entrepreneurs maybe don't realize, what your offer is or your target demographic may actually encourage a higher or lower commitment rate. So a lot of my coaching is around building confidence. And what I've noticed is a lot of unconfident people or people that haven't built the skill or the habit of confidence is all that it is. It's a proof of concept. If I do X times, I get Y, X times, that they're used to not showing up for themselves. And so they're not really uncomfortable being flaky, because a lot of confidence is doing what you say you're going to do and holding promises to yourself. And so one thing to think about is, depending on what your target audience is, you may have to tweak it or calibrate it based on. So like when I first got into coaching, I was trying to help dudes who were going through breakups, something that I find very interesting. But a lot of people are in such a sullen, I don't want to say the word victim, but when you're in the dumps, sometimes you just want to stay in the dumps for a little bit.
Yeah, pity party.
And I think you should have enough time to be like, this sucks, boo-hoo. Not a lot, but enough to just normal grieving state. But I noticed it was really hard to convert clients that were in that headspace. It takes a lot to be dedicated to want to get out of your current situation if you're in a shitty place.
Yeah, they probably need energy healing.
100%.
Ding.
100%. Yeah, that was rough. I remember I first got into coaching. I had very limited resources, and I hired this guy. I don't remember his name. I do, but I'm not going to say it. But I was messaging people on Facebook and going in groups, and I talked to so many people. I got maybe a few discovery calls. A lot of it was probably limiting beliefs on my end too, and I was a lot younger. But I just remember being like these people are so fucking sad, and I hated it. I was like, I do not want to talk to people like this anymore. I just don't like talking to people that are miserable.
Yeah, it's not going to bring you up.
No.
That's the thing. Well, I think this is great. I think law of resonance, like we talked about last episode and even a little bit today, you are surrounding yourself with people that are low, so you're going to stay low. You want to surround yourself with people that are high, you're going to stay high. Let me tell you, honey, I'm high. So let's go. I'm not actually high, just to be clear.
And I totally agree. I've always noticed in my life, because I'm an empath and I especially didn't have as good of guards of my ability to be emotionally vampired, it's now I can handle those conversations better. And then also being around people that are high value, that are high vibration, it's absolutely night and day in terms of how you then feel, pulls you up.
Yeah, definitely. Blessings on blessings.
Blessings on blessings. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, let us know what part you like the most or some of those questions we asked, and make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Oh, and if you do the 3-6-9 method, I'd love to hear what you actually wrote for your 3, 6, and 9.
Drop your affirmations below and all your notes. There should be 6 pages of them, right?
At least.
All right, guys. Have an awesome day. Thanks for listening.
Bye.